Hi everyone, and welcome. I'm Christina. Today we get to do something really special. We're highlighting Nawi, Kenya's official submission for the Academy Awards, now streaming on Angel. Nawi is a coming-of-age story that takes on something very real. Child marriage is one of the most pressing crises in Kenya, and this film looks that reality directly in the face, with honesty, beauty, and deep humanity. If you haven't seen it yet, you can stream it right now at angel.com/NawiGuild, and we really hope you do. Today we're joined by director Toby Schmutzler and writer Milcah Cherotich. We're going to hear about how this film came to be, why it matters, and what it means for a story like this to reach the world. But before welcoming them onto the show, let's watch the official trailer of Nawi. We'll see you after.
Dear future me, my biggest dream is to have a voice when I grow up.
I'm sure Nairobi is waiting for you. Go and chase your many dreams.
You will have your duties of a daughter.
Papa, please. This is my life.
Utaolewa.
Dear future me, I am guilty of being a girl. How can you run away? Because I'm afraid. Because of dreams.
I'm so glad we just got to watch that trailer. Every single time that I've got a chance to see it, you can just feel it. There's something really impactful about a story like that. And don't forget that you can now stream Nawi on Angel. But first, let's start this live stream. I want to welcome two special guests with us tonight, director Toby and writer Milcah. Thank you guys so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. All right. Well, before we get into the how, I just want to start by saying thank you again for being here. This film clearly came from somewhere that was personal, and you guys really wanted to make something that would impact all kinds of audiences, not just the people that can immediately relate to this, but I feel like anyone and everyone can find something that they can connect with this film. So I want to go back to the beginning. I want to start with you, Milcah. What first drew you to this story? Like, was there anything specific, a person that made you feel that you had to tell this story?
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. To start with, I'd like to say that what really inspired me to tell the story of Nawi is partly was my experience, personal experience, which was inspired by a close family member who was forced into child marriage at an early age, but more specifically of a friend who was abducted in my presence as we were going to the market. And watching that experience unfold in my eyes really made me understand the impact of child marriage, not only as an issue, but as a problem that is affecting real people, and it's affecting people with the dreams and futures. And I went back and sat and realized that often or most of the times child marriage is spoken about in statistics and research, but it's really not through the eyes of the girls who live it. And when we talk about numbers, it's very easy to feel distant. And I really wanted to close that distance. I wanted people to walk in the shoes of one girl and understand what she's going through, her courage, the challenges that she has to face. Because the moment we step into the world of one person, then we are able to appreciate what they go through. And if there are challenges, we are about to ask ourselves, what is it that we can do to make that change? Because then it bridges that gap that statistics or numbers often bring. And that's the reason why I thought I need to tell this story, at least for change to happen. I mean, my friend had 3 girls, and I would feel sad if these 3 girls would go the same will have the same fate as their mother. So I wanted that to change before these girls are at the age of an age where they need to make decisions for themselves. So that really pushed me to tell this story.
Thank you for sharing that, because honestly, the writing really made it feel like this was a universal thing that people need to relate with and connect with. Like, this is an issue that's happening, and not only can it be connected with what's happening in like this culture, but in a lot of different realms, this has happened. So I appreciate you for sharing that. This next question is now more for the both of you, but I would love to have Toby answer it first. What do you think was being misunderstood or unseen about a world like this before this film existed? Like, as you started to get more involved in the journey of this film and bringing it to life, what's something that you noticed that wasn't really seen?
I mean, it's a bit like you said, Christina, like this is happening not only in sub-Saharan Africa, this is happening all over the world. And when we started researching the topic of child marriage or early marriage, it's crazy, the dimension. And so what we thought was important to state with this film is that it's like a local story. It's a very local issue, but the film has gone far and wide across the globe, and that's, I think, a cool thing to bring more people closer to this topic. Because when I started out, to be honest, I didn't know the dimension and the actual scale of the problem. So yeah, I think that's something unseen that's now like brought to light a bit more by this film.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, I feel like many people always believe that child marriage is only about culture and tradition, but that's really not the case. There are several factors that are pushing families to marry their children at early age. We have climate pressure. I mean, climate change is playing a big role. When there is no rain, that means that some animals are dying, people are not able to grow plants, and that is giving them very minimal choices. And the only first choice they see is marrying off a girl in order to get livestock. And then we also have poverty, which is a very big factor. When families don't have the financial capability to care for the families, in one way, they feel like giving away this girl is going to give us some sort of protection, but they actually do not know that they are sending this girl in a place that's setting her to hell, basically, because she's still young. She has not grown enough in order to handle the responsibility that comes with being a wife, not mentioning that this is forced. And this is what I felt like most often when we talk about child marriage, people just see it's culture, but it's not. There are so many factors that play in that contributes to child marriage.
Thank you for sharing that. No, I appreciate both of your responses. This kind of takes me now into the next segment that I wanted to share with you guys. But before I get into that, I wanted to say for everyone there listening, what strikes me the most about the film Nawi is how real it feels. Because yeah, just as we heard, this isn't just about one community. We see this happening in multiple communities. And that's honestly such a striking and impactful thing to really recognize, that it's not just in one place. And that's why a movie like this is so important. And then what I did appreciate a lot about the film that we'll start to talk a little bit more about is the importance of the communities, of what happens with like a child who starts to say, no, I don't want to do this. Like, I want to speak up for myself. So the next segment, I'm going to start first with you, Toby. This segment is about community and authenticity. Can you walk us through what it was like to film in Kenya and work alongside local communities and tribes while bringing the story to life?
So first of all, like, this is a long-term project for us. Like, we've been working on this and working in northern Kenya together with an NGO, actually. They're called the Learning Lions. They have a very good network on the ground, which helped us realizing this film. But we have been there back and forth since 2017. So like a third of my life has been this project. So this has been a very careful approach to the Turkana community. Turkana is the region in northern Kenya where this film plays, and we knew that for the realization of it, we needed the local people to support it, because not only would we need a lot of extras and the infrastructure and stuff like that and shooting locations, but we also would need it like after the film's done to kind of have them accept it, because it's like, as Milcah said, it's part of their culture, and we didn't want to offend their culture, but we needed to like walk a thin line in saying, okay, what aspects of this culture might not fit into the modern world, and which aspects are actually beautiful and like from a rich culture. We were super lucky that we had in the directing department one of my co-directors, Apu Marine. She is born Turkana, and she has also been working for a long time for an outreach program. So she kind of knew the elders in the communities, so she could like path the way for us before we then rolled in with our Kenyan German film crew. So she could like have the necessary talks and explain why this is important that we do what we're doing. And yeah, this helped us a lot in working with the community, especially on scenes like the wedding or like the ritual scenes where you have a lot of extras, you don't speak the language, so there has to be like a proper translation. And yeah, we were happy that actually most of our crew were Turkana, filmmakers from Turkana, so that helped a lot.
That's so cool. Honestly, I think it's really important when you get the locals involved in, especially a movie about them. For you, Milcah, I wanted to ask you, like, as you guys casted local actors and brought that community, like, why was that something that you wanted people to really like see on screen? That nothing, like no other film could have done this, because you guys were on like location and you found these people.
Well, I think the most important thing we wanted to show is for the community to feel part of it. If you bring casts that are from outside the community, most of the times the community will feel sidelined, and then they will not take it as part of their project. But this, the whole of making Nawi was making, as much as we wanted to bring out the challenges that the community is facing, we wanted that community to play a role. We wanted the community to be part of it, so that going forward, they're going to be part of the solution that is going to be found out of showcasing the challenges that they face. And it was also important to have the local, for example, Michelle, who is the main actress, that she's also able to walk in the shoes of the girls who've been married off, her friends who've been forced into marriage, that she can take it personally, and it can be relatable also to other peers of her age. And also it will have some effect on the fathers or the uncles when they see that their daughter is going through this challenge. So they will stop looking at it as a film, and they will start looking at it as really something that is affecting their own daughters. So it was very crucial to have local players be part of this project.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense that you want people to be like, oh, this is like my life. This is like my daughter. This could have been my friend. Thank you for sharing that. This next question is for the both of you. I wanted to ask, were there any moments during production that you just like, this is awesome, or like, this scene is really impacting me? Can you walk us through, and this question is for the both of you, can you guys walk us through a scene or a moment that was just so impactful or your favorite while you were shooting?
I mean, let me actually start with the casting of Michelle, because that was obviously like a huge challenge to find that lead role, to find that face who would carry this film ultimately, because we knew we wanted someone from the region. We knew we wanted someone who could relate culturally. And so we went around schools and did like a lot of castings with boys and girls for all the child roles. And yeah, when we saw Michelle for the first time and had her Like I heard her give her 2 lines, one happy line, I made it to high school, and one sad line. We just instantly knew that there was something very special about her, and that's when I first started to believe that this project could even like go beyond Kenya, go into beyond international, or like go international actually, because she is just a very, very, very lucky punch that we had. But coming to the film, I think a magical scene that we filmed was actually the wedding scene, because there was so many people involved from the community, and we had Michelle at the center of it, and she was just doing her very best, and I think she even kind of convinced the people that there was an actual wedding happening. So when we said action, and then like people started dancing and doing all this festive stuff, and when we said cut, no one was stopping. So it was just like a huge celebration of a wedding, actual wedding, where we kind of like then went in with our 2 cameras and tried to grab what we could, basically, which makes this scene, like when you watch it now, you don't know it, you won't be able to tell. But yeah, for me, it was very special.
Thank you for sharing that. And then same question for you, Milcah.
Yeah, for me, I think a scene that stayed with me was in the lake when she went to swim with the friends. So that actually showed how children are sometimes deprived of of great moments of them being children, and to have a child be a bride, yet she's supposed to be making fun and playing with other kids, is something that I feel should not happen. And for me, that was really magical to see how they can be so happy in very little moments, like just going to swim. They say it is paradise. So for me, that was a moment that moved me.
Thank you for sharing that. That takes us right into our next segment, because this little girl really decided, like, no, I want to have an education. I want to further the opportunities that I can have instead of just becoming a bride. That, you're right, she is a child. She does deserve to live a full life and get to have all the same opportunities other people get to have. So this next segment is more about education and like courage and just overall pursuing more opportunities that you haven't been able to have. For you, I want to ask this first question to you, Milcah. Why is education such a central thread throughout this story? I know that we represent that she wants to further her education. She doesn't want to just be limited. But like, what do you feel like it represented beyond just that of school?
But I can say education is not only about classroom, but in this region, education means having possibilities. Education means opening doors to the future. Education also means safety, because they know that when they are in school, then they get that safety. And 1 year that they spend in school means they have a lesser chance of being married off. So education is quite broad. Education is the safety net, if I have to use that word. Education is the safety net that protects them, because when they are educated, they get to know about their rights. They get to know what is right, what is wrong. They get to know what is it that they need to change, to what they need to do to change some of these things that are affecting the community. If I just have to lighten it a little bit, most of these communities where they still practice these harmful practices, they are marginalized. And one reason that they are marginalized is because they don't send the kids to school, and they face challenges with no solutions. I mean, the people who are supposed to offer solutions are the same people who are not being given the opportunity to go to school. So the moment children or girls are given the opportunity to go to schools, it means that they have the power to change whatever challenge that their community is facing. Then it means that they have the power to bring new solutions or to bring new innovations in terms of in terms of it could be some of the wait, it just keep in my mind.
You're good.
Yeah, so they could be innovative in finding ways. I mean, the old folks, for example, like the parents are still stagnated in the past way of life, but with children being sent to school, then they get a new perspective of how life is supposed to be, of how they are supposed to move with speed with the rest of the world. And so for me, education is a door that opens a lot of possibilities, not only for these girls, but for the rest of the community. And in the end, it's going to be beneficial also for the nation, because they are going then to contribute into the economy, raising the economy of their nation. So education is possibility.
No, I totally agree. I love that you shared all that. And especially with the story that she wants to further her education. A way that I feel like I can really connect with that is my grandpa came from a very small, remote village in Peru. And there you couldn't get any education past elementary. But he decided to, like, no, I want to keep furthering it. Like, how come it just has to be limited? There are more opportunities with when it comes to education as you keep finding that, like, learning isn't just about like the greatness that comes from it, but like the power that it gives you. And I feel like, yeah, like you shared, it is about like that one person that then impacts the rest of the community. Because like for me, my grandpa, not only did he like help partake in that, but it does impact generations at the end of the day. Because one person decided to further their opportunities, that means the next generation will even have more opportunities because of it. I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you. Um, for you, Toby, how do you hope your audiences, especially the younger ones, respond to watching the choices that Nawi makes within this film?
So this movie has been in Kenyan cinemas a year ago already. So we knew that like the audience on the ground, we know their reactions. And what's interesting to see there is that especially the younger generation, they are very much in favor of the film. They're very much in favor of the fact that this taboo topic is finally talked about, you know? So it's like, it's actually very encouraging that you can see that this kind of generational change that is hinted at in the movie, not to spoil or anything, but like you can see that change is actually on the way and that things are not super bleak, but there's a future that Kenya as a nation, and I think also surrounding nations, are striving towards. I don't think the speed of this change is fast enough, but yeah, we've had, so what's happening on the ground is that there's like a cinema truck that goes from village to village. Like they really go through the desert and they do community screenings, and we've had Milcah with school screenings, and there's different reactions. So it's obviously it's accompanied by discussions with the men, with the elder people, because you can't just show the film without context. You have to have discussions afterwards. And I think, I don't know, Milcah, if you want to share that story you told me about the guy who then approached you, like this, just like very meaningful grassroots stories that show like there's even change on the grassroots level through this film somehow.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you, Milcah.
Yeah, so with the community screenings that we've done, and just to say, even though we wanted to make the film to go to the theaters, the most important part for us is that the film gets screened in the villages where this practice is happening. Otherwise, there won't be any change if we only concentrate in the urban areas. So with the community screenings, we've gone to several villages, going to the markets. And there was this particular time we had this screening in the market. And you know, when it is starting, you are a little bit also afraid because you do not know how the men are going to react, for example, or even the women. I mean, this is culture, this is tradition, and It's really an area that nobody wants to touch on. We screened this film, and at the end of the film, there was a guy who approached me, and he asked me to go to his home. But then I was a little skeptical because I didn't know why he wanted me to go there. But I realized that he was friendly. He wasn't using like a harsh tone on me. So I had accepted the invite, went to his home. But first I had to meet the lady, his wife, to find out whether there was something that he had maybe planned unexpectedly. So so the lady told me that my husband informed me that you are screening a film and it's about child marriage. But to them, they don't know that it's film. They think it's real. So they were really scared, or they were surprised that a girl could die because of child marriage. And I understand them, because normally when a lady is when a girl is married off, nobody from the family follows up to know how she's doing. The moment she has been exchanged with the cows or the goats, that's the end of it. She has to figure out a lot of things on herself. She has to start her own life and survive. And then looking at Nawi and seeing how she's traveling in the desert, seeing how she's crossing the river, how she's going through all these challenges, I think touched this one. And I somehow changed my mind, because for many years we've been, as ladies, we've always been told that our fathers and uncles are like the villains. They're the bad guys, because they always want to marry us off because of livestock. But then I realized, after having a sit down with this guy, that that's not true. They actually have a very soft spot for their daughters. It's just that they've never been involved in the life of these girls when they are married off. So he told me that he feels guilty, because he also married off his daughter like 6 months before, and he was going then to follow up to see how the daughter was doing, as he was afraid that she might have gone also through the agony that now he went through. And that really meant a lot to me. I mean, this is already a change that is happening. We've had the conversation of child marriage in our communities for many years. Since I was a young girl, these topics, these conversations were on. But imagining that a 100-minute film was able to change within 100 minutes, it was already changing the perception of a man, was very powerful to me. And it's not only him. There are several other men who've changed their perception after seeing Nawi. So that tells us that there is some things that we were not doing it right from beginning. Maybe we were starting conversations with blaming the men, instead of, having a dialogue to understand where are we going wrong? What is it that is bringing about child marriage? And I was really happy to leave that home, knowing that at least we could not prevent him marrying off this daughter, but I was sure that the other daughters that he has were going to be safe. He was not going to marry them off just because of watching Nawi. So for me, that was powerful, and it was a win. I felt like we won.
That is a win. That's so a win. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I know that, especially with this new audience night that you guys will have with like all of our guild members, because we have over 2 million guild members that will get a chance to see this film within their homes, share it with their family members. That's now going to impact them as well. And just like you said, like what you shared, that's a win. Who's to say what will come from all our guild members that will get a chance to see this film? I'm really excited for everyone who will get to see this, because it is really impactful. A question I wanted to ask you both a little bit more about this topic was kind of how I said, like, you guys will have this new audience of the guild watching it. How do you guys feel, and what do you guys hope that this new audience will take from this movie, now that you've seen a lot of people within the community watch it? What do you hope that now this new audience gets to come out with?
I mean, we always knew that this film has like two audiences, right? It has this Kenyan audience on the ground, but it's also made in a way that it's kind of, it fits our it fits a Western or an international taste as well, and we know this through like the huge festival run we had all around the globe, also in the US, and we know that the film is really touching people on a very human basis. We know that when you watch the film, after you watch the film, you really think about your own privileges, you think about your own life and the chances you have that you might have taken for granted for a long time. And I think there's a very altruistic thought that people have after this film. Like really a lot of people have approached us and asked, okay, what can we do from here? How can we help? And I think this is very powerful because I believe there's a lot of things that we can do to help our fellow humans, be it in Africa, be it in India, be it in Eastern Europe, even where this is happening. So there's a lot of ways to actually get involved. And I think already talking about it, already sharing this with a friend or with family member, like talking about it is already fighting child marriage, because this is an issue that's just like suppressed, you know. It's like people are not talking about it. People are like hush, not really addressing it. And I think if we can get a conversation sparked around it, that can already change a lot.
Yes, I agree. Thank you for sharing that. And then same question for you, Milcah. Like, what do you hope for this new audience of all of our guild members watching this film? What do you hope for them to come out with after seeing this film?
Yeah, I'll just have one word for them, that Nawi's quest for education is universal. Education is a universal thing and should be protected by all costs with all of us.
So actually with this film, there's also a very hands-on way that people can get involved. There's like a thing called the Nawi initiative, where we use the emotional power of this film and translate it into impact in the region. So it's basically about funding schools and building schools. There's already one school that has been built where 300 girls are going to school. It's about scholarships for girls in danger, because often the family can't provide for school education. So it's basically like a huge awareness and donation campaign that we're also launching with this film called the Nawi Initiative. And if people want to find out more, they just type it into a browser of their choice and they will find it.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that'll be a great way to excuse me. I think that'll be a great way to segment on to the next portion of the live stream. We'll now be playing a video from the lead actress, Michelle. We asked her to kind of tell us a little bit more about her experience with the film in a couple words, and we'll play that for you guys now.
So the year is 2022. I was born and I grew up in Lodwar. I also schooled there. I was there for primary school. On a random day, directors and one of the producers were going down schools in Turkana, casting to look for the 4 child actors playing the different roles in Nawi. And a teacher came to my class and asked who thinks they can act. I personally thought it was for a school play. Then I signed up for the auditions. Later on, I got to find out that it is a whole feature film and there was a whole script. When I got to find out the whole story of the film and the script we were using, it really motivated me to take this role, and I decided that this was what I want to do. And that's how I got the role now. I mean, it wasn't easy, first of all, but the production had hired a very good dialogue coach from Nairobi who trained us for about 2 to 3 weeks, and also from personal experiences, because I know my friends who are victims of early marriage. I know close relatives who are victims of early marriage. I really try to put myself in their shoes and resonate with them to be able to portray and to be able to put all these emotions in a screen and make sure the audience can really feel it, can really feel what the girls were feeling. Through Nawi, a lot has changed in my personal life, because through this role, I have gotten a voice, an audible voice. The film has enabled me to be able to walk into several rooms and speak about this courageously and tell people, even in my community, that there are other alternatives to these things, and tell them the importance of giving the girl child education for a better future of not only the girl's life but even the community. So yes, the film has mostly given me a voice. I think it's important for people outside of Kenya to watch this film, because obviously not everyone knows about this issue, not everyone knows that this is happening. So the film is important because it raises awareness of the issue, and more people get to know about this problem. More people will speak about it to other people, and when more people know, obviously they will come up with more solutions, better ones to somehow solve this problem. In Kenya, after screening the film several times, I've had different reactions from different generations. Really depends. And from the younger generation, we've received very positive feedback. Youth are really motivated and inspired to really find ways of curbing this issue. And obviously, they don't agree with these practices that are going on in the community. And actually, the production has arranged for a cinema truck to go to villages around Turkana, around the areas where this is widely practiced, even outside Turkana, and just hold screenings in the villages where the fathers who actually implement these practices can also get to watch the film, where the mothers, the children, families can get to watch this film and really somehow get to feel how these girls feel when this happens to them. So far, for the screenings that have been done, we have had cases where after the screening, one of the fathers who had married off their daughters called our writers after the screening, invited her and told her he regrets what he did to the girl, and actually for the first time will go and ask how the girl is doing and maybe try to take back the girl and take her to school. Yeah, so and that really means a lot, even just one person, and we're hoping that we'll get more positive feedback from the community. And obviously I don't want to assume that all of it will be positive, because in my community there are people who really hold on to these traditions. Obviously there will be opposition, but we're hoping for the best and hoping to the film will get to convince these people to give the girls a better life. Individual people can actually do a lot just by doing a simple thing, have a voice, speak to other people about this film just by word of mouth. It can really go a long way, telling them about the film, telling them about this issue. And from the film, we also have the Nawi initiative, which aims in supporting girls in education and rescuing them from early marriage, and just being able to give them education, a place to stay, a safe environment which can assure them of a brighter future. Yeah, so you can also make donations for the Nawi initiative to support the girls, and you can also just spread the message, talk about it to your friends. I want Nawi to change it's okay first of all in my community, because it's different. That's educating a girl isn't just important for the girl's future, but for the community's future. Because when a girl gets educated, that means the future generations will be better, like, in terms of development, and be able to get education, get more opportunities. The society will be more developed, and that makes life better by educating a girl.
We're truly honored to have Nawi here on Angel. This partnership is meaningful. It's an opportunity to help bring a story like this to reach people that it otherwise wouldn't. I'm so happy that we got to hear from Michelle. It was such a sweet message that we heard. I want to now bring it back to Toby and Milcah to hear their reactions of seeing this message from her.
I mean, it's just crazy to see, like, when we shot with Michelle, she was 13. Now she turned 16. And through these 3 years of knowing her, she has grown so much into this ambassador for this topic, how she can speak up for her age mates, basically, how she can speak up for other girls in various rooms, be it a political surrounding, be it like just an interview like that. She's like very confident, and I think she's just a very, very intelligent young lady that, yeah, will change a lot in this topic.
Well, I can say I'm so proud of Michelle, and to see that she's taking that issue passionately means that she cares a lot about her community and also about her peers who could be facing this challenge. So I'm super proud of her, and I hope she's going to continue being the voice of the ones who are not able to speak up for themselves.
Thank you for sharing that, you guys. We really are honored here at Angel to have this partnership with Nawi. Bringing this story to a wider audience is going to be so meaningful and impactful for them. I wanted to now talk a little bit more about the overall partnership you guys have with Angel. For you, Toby, why did it feel like creating that partnership with this platform felt right for this film?
I think it's a very out of the box film, you know, it's a very exotic film in a way. And so it didn't feel right to just go along with a mainstream streamer and just have it like in their library somewhere. I feel like Angel is very curated and very intelligent about what kinds of films they show to their community, to the guild. I think the guild itself is kind of like a very conscious viewership, you know, they don't just like consume and then like next. It's like, for us as filmmakers, this is very special that people kind of cherish like each film, and we know that there's conversations in the guild around the films, and we hope that this will happen for Nawi too, because I think it's a very important cause, and I know that this community is all about important causes and about like just righteous things to happen, you know. So we're happy that we can bring a good film to good people.
Thank you for sharing that. And then for you, Milcah, how do you feel like bringing this film in the industry that film comes from? What does it feel like for you to have this film be here in such a global platform, but for this real audience that the guild brings?
It means, for me, it means that the awareness is also going global, and awareness being global, it means that we are then able to speed up some of the solutions that we need. I mean, when it stays local, then it will take almost forever. But when it goes out there, then it's going to get into the ears of so many people. It might get into the right ears of whatever policy maker or funders. And in the end, when it is global, we are hoping that it's going to shape how donors or funders, they have to see where they have to say where they have to invest their money. To know that education is important, they have to spend this money in education. And also in different organizations, they can see which are some of the policies that they need to push for in order to protect girls. So my belief is that when it's global, then the issue also gets to be discussed in a wider in wider forums.
So I think for you guys in the guild, I know it's very hard to click on something in your feed that looks so exotic, that looks so like far away from your world. But I think that's exactly where Nawi scores, basically, because every person who has seen it afterwards is really moved. And I think that's like the power of this film. It's like a little emotional bomb that you don't expect to explode, but it's gonna, I promise you, you will not regret if you watch this movie. And it's gonna stick with you. And I think if we have more voices behind the film, we can change a lot together.
Yes, thank you guys for sharing that. And then the last thing I wanted to ask both of you guys as we're getting closer to wrapping up our live stream is, this film ends with some statistics that a lot of people are not aware of. They have never seen these numbers before. What are some of your final thoughts, or like a final call to action that you would share with audiences that are watching it? I know that we've mentioned different ways that we can help impact, but what is one last thing you would like to share?
I mean, I think I can only repeat what Milcah said. See the individual person behind the number. See behind the 640 million girls living worldwide that have been married off as children. See one of them. Like, if you see one of them, then you can really like relate and feel the dimension of this issue. So I think, but people should also not despair, you know? So it's not like there's no hope. So that's what we also want to say with the movie. I hope it comes through that there is the chance for change, there is the chance for a better future. And yeah, now we should hopefully inspire that.
So I would say behind every statistic is a girl with dreams. And together, through awareness, partnerships, and actions, we can create a world where no girl has to sacrifice her dreams in order to survive.
Thank you guys for sharing that. I appreciate it so much. Before we fully wrap up, I want to again thank you both for being here today, for making this film, and I'm just so excited to get the whole guild to watch this film. Nawi is now streaming on Angel. You can see it on angel.com/NawiGuild. When you watch and support a film like this, you're doing more than just streaming. You're making a space for great stories to get told more often. This film not only brings a story that impacts you because of its complexity and the dignity that it brings, but you're allowing voices like this to be heard. Thank you everyone for watching this live stream today, and we'll see you guys next time.
Dear future me, my biggest dream is to have a voice when I grow up.
I'm sure Nairobi is waiting for you. Go and chase your many dreams.
You will have your duties of a daughter.
Papa, please. This is my life.
Utaolewa.
Dear future me, I am guilty of being a girl. How can you run away? Because I'm afraid. Because of dreams.